What's up, guys? It is Friday, January 28th, 2022 AD, Anno Domini, 9:01 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And we'll have a fun, loosey-goosey Friday show. How about that, guys? You like that? I hope so. If not, get out of here. No, I'm kidding. I have some the virus hype to talk about. You guys heard of the trucker protests? I've only heard very little of the trucker protests, but I'm going to cover it a little bit because it seems to be suppressed and marginalized and mocked and dismissed by evil people, including Trudeau. The trucker protest is happening in Canada, I hear. Actually, protests around the world against these vaccine and virus communist shutdowns and mandates, right? And there's a major attack on the white man, both in the culture and in the government and in the mainstream media. They're trying to replace a so-called white man, and I say so-called because he's not a normal white, let's be serious, on the Supreme Court with a black woman. And this man was known for, at least towards the end, trying to compromise, supposedly. And the black woman who replaces him is not going to compromise. Sleepy Joe is going to appoint it. And some banned books, madness, and other things. And maybe an old story. I skipped over that feel-good story yesterday. Do you want me to cover it? I don't know if I want to cover it. Let me know if you want. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the AJ Gallardo original theme song of the Hake Report. We're gonna have a fun show. I will be taking your calls. Some of you already on hold. A shout out to Trevor Wesley for the other version, Monday through Thursday song.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. Shout out to Louis Bootsy. Louis says, Hake, when you scream like that, watch your blood pressure. You don't want to be messing with your blood pressure. You're screaming at these callers and screaming out everywhere. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Looking out for me. Looking out for the health and fitness of the JLP crew. At least Nick and me. Nice. I appreciate it. That's cool. And some of you guys are on hold. First off, though, I would like to cover this Canada trucking parade, truckers convoy protesting. From what I understand, it's protesting the vaccine mandates. Real Clear Politics and Global News report that Canadian PM, he should be PM'd, put to sleep peacefully. I mean, he should go to bed instead of trying to. I'm not talking about anyway. Figuratively, metaphysically, of course. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who's a joke, says that truckers protesting the China virus passports, vaccine passports, are a small fringe minority. They want to fringialize you. They want to marginalize you. And this is up in Canada, north of America, right? I've heard that this guy's, by the way, going into quarantine for 5 days, right when they're coming, like, in front of his house in Ottawa, right? Ottawa is the capital city of Canada, right? And he's going into hiding, quarantine, because he was exposed to somebody who had the China virus at some point. How convenient. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. But let me play this clip 11 of this of this person, Justin Trudeau, with his hair that I don't think is his, I don't know, it seems like he might be dyeing it. But anyway, listen to Justin Trudeau mocking and marginalizing you, the people. And the truckers are some of the best people in America, certainly. And I would assume that there's some decent people up in Canada as well. Many truckers call into my show, the Hake Report, as well as the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Black and white. Mostly they're decent, except for Tony from California. Listen to this. Justin Trudeau. This is from Global News on YouTube.
It's important to underline that close to 90% of truckers in this country are vaccinated, like close to 90% of Canadians. Over the past many months and years now, Canadians have stepped up to protect each other, to protect our frontline workers, to protect our elders, to protect our young people, to protect people like truckers who are putting food on our grocery store shelves. Canadians have stepped up to do the right thing to protect the freedoms and the rights of Canadians to get back to the things we love to do. We know the way through this pandemic is by getting everyone vaccinated. And the overwhelming majority, close to 90% of Canadians, have done exactly that. The small fringe minority of people who are on their way to Ottawa or who are holding unacceptable views that they're expressing do not represent the views of Canadians who have been there for each other, who know that following the science and stepping up to protect each other is the best way to continue to ensure our freedoms, our rights, our values as a country.
Makes me want to cuss or say some word that indicates, that questions his moral straightness. Is 60% close to 90%? I wonder if it's like 63%, because I hear that in America, the quote-unquote vaccination rate of Americans is like, is it 63% or something like that? Vaccinated? Yeah, vaccinated of America. And that's supposedly the lowest in the of the wealthy countries. And that makes me feel good about America, right? Isn't that nice? That there are some, I mean, many people, I suspect that there are people who should not be getting it. Unlike this guy, he says the way through this pandemic is by getting everyone vaccinated. No, not everyone, I don't think, should be, quote-unquote, vaccinated. Follow the science. No, science doesn't tell you what to do. Science tells you maybe what happened if you do such A, B may happen. Sometimes. Right? So, Nicolas, the host of the Anchor Babies new show, he states, I'm leery of that the government-run media, which is what, CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Channel or something like that, corporation, has been pushing the 90% vaccinated Canada for a while now. Yeah. And there's a French Canada. What's French Canada? Quebec. I think that over there they complain that like 89 or 92% of Quebecians are quote unquote vaccinated, and so they want to clamp down on the people and tax them and charge them extra for being quote unquote unvaccinated, especially the ones who are over 65. What a mess. And this guy doesn't seem like an honest person, because let me play these throwback clips from, the clips are the ones that I grabbed from 2019, clip 11A and B. These are just throwbacks clips because anytime I see Justin Trudeau, I think of this. You know how I always say, Sophie and I are proud feminists. Have you guys heard me say that? I'm quoting Justin Trudeau. Listen to him back in 2017 talking about International Women's Day. He's a kiss-up. He's not an honest person. Listen to him.
Hello, my friends, and happy International Women's Day. Sophie and I are proud feminists and are raising our daughter and our sons to believe that an equal world is a better and more powerful world.
Is this person a Christian? Is that thing a Christian? Trudeau is little Hitler. I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly really what I want to call him. He doesn't even talk manly. Here's a little bit more of his lies from back in the 2017 International Women's Day. He's putting out fake stats and not the whole story. Lying with facts, and some of them are not even facts. Listen to this.
But on International Women's Day, we must remember that there is still much work to do. Women around the world receive lower pay and fewer promotions. They are denied legal control over their bodies and their reproductive health. And they face much higher rates of violence, harassment, and verbal, physical, and sexual assault. All of these issues are compounded for Indigenous women, women of color, and trans women.
What? He said trans women. And that stat, that if it's worse for the Indigenous and so-called women of color, it's not the white man doing that to the black and Indigenous, so-called Indigenous, and POC women. Is what a mess, huh? What a mess. Is the lisp legitimate? Is the G word a bad word, Nick? Because Super Dave, who is Canadian, calls him the G word. Some say it's... Okay. Okay. So he says that if you know what the G word is, there's a Disney character called Goofy. And if you say that word without the E part at the end, in Canada, some people who know may want to fight you if you call them that. Because I think it may be another word for homosexual or something. And not good. Oh, even worse, to kids. Wow. Yeah, that's not good. And I don't want to call him anything other than what he is, which is an evil, effeminate liar. He's a liar. Malkuth X, he saw this. I saw this text from him, message from him. Chat. Hey, should I do a compilation vid of your best on-air meltdowns? Yeah, that'd be fun. I would be honored, and it would be interesting publicity. Thanks, man. But anyway, back to this story. Trudeau is covering the... let me just start in on this part, this aspect of the story. Trudeau is dismissing the truckers. I think at one point he said a few thousand or something like that. The mainstream media seems to have been suppressing it. But from what I understand, it's much bigger. This protest against the mandates, and it's happening around the world, is much bigger than what the media and the commie capitalists and the people in the government want to admit. The enemies of America, enemies of Canada, Canadians, real Canadians. Luke Rudkowski. Luke We Are Change. Ever heard of him? I've heard of him. He's been a pretty honest journalist, even if he is on the liberal side. He tweeted on yesterday a clip of that podcast host, my competitor, whom I have covered a little bit, and I'll get to him again, Joe Rogan, showing a video of this huge truck caravan. He said 50,000 people protesting the vax mandates. And I saw this covered in TKR Official, too, on Telegram. Many of us are on Telegram, guys. T.me/The Hake Report. I'm there. T.me/TKR Official. T.me/JLP Talk. Those are the web URLs to get to our different Telegram channels. I saw he was looking into it because it's hard to know, like, is it just a few thousand, or is it 50,000, or is it somewhere in between, or is it more? He was posting info and videos on his Telegram, and I have one of those videos, TKR Official. Luke wrote, this is why the government needs to shut down Joe Rogan, because he has a big platform, like 11 million viewers, supposedly. And Spotify has been censoring some of his stuff. I mean, they censored some of his stuff, right? And Neil Young, this old singer, old washed-up singer, American supposedly singer, wanted him censored, or else he himself would be censored off of Spotify. And so Spotify got rid of him because he's old news, right? What a mess, huh? Well, other people are putting out the truth, too. Real Vincent James, TKR Official, Hake, JLP Talk, Clip 12. TKR Official shared this clip from one Bobby on Telegram, and this is a person's cell phone footage, I think, of this truck convoy rally up in Canada. And he's pointing out the dishonesty of the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting whatever corporation, government-run their mainstream media, which was, according to him, only pointing at like 2 or 3 people off to the side rather than showing what was really going on, which was huge crowds for freedom, purportedly. It's about a minute clip. Listen to this.
I'm going to do a quick video here showing you CBC, showing a couple
Media.
of people. All right? Look at this. Their
Jesus
cameras are
Lord
setting up the
sign,
point
nice.
in this direction. Remember that. Now let's turn around and show what's really happening here.
Bass Pro Shops, lots of people.
Our news media will not cover this.
Wow.
They point at a couple of people.
Say no to
Meanwhile,
vax
this is
mandate.
what's really going on.
Canada.
Unbelievable.
Flag upside down.
If
Flag
you
upside down
any
means
more proof that it's corrupt,
F word.
here
something.
it is.
Isn't that nice? And these are upstanding people, seemingly. You don't see Antifa causing mess. And it's all cold
Look at
outside.
that amazing journalism, CBC. All you have to do is turn your camera in the other direction.
Nice, huh? Isn't that beautiful? So it's not just the truckers who are saying this stuff. It's the normal people. Real Vincent James, the Daily Veracity, dailyveracity.com, I think is the website. They covered how, I think it was covered in the Justin Peterson show on whose network I'm on, that huge protests in France, across Europe, have been bigger than the Women's March mess, which was pushing for abortion, right? And it was hyped by the mainstream media and the establishment and the commie capitalist corporations, Planned Parenthood, and everything else propped up by evil. But this stuff is not covered by the mainstream media. And there was protests against the communist, what I call the communist shutdowns and the mandates and the vaccine passports and all that stuff. Canadians finally standing up. And the Canada flag, when it's upside down, that means distress. When you see the American flag upside down, that's like a symbol of distress. So, nice. So right on to the Canadians. I'm going to get to this attack on the white man, and I will get to your calls. But first, briefly, let me get to some super chats. Venti Soy Latte gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. Question. Oh, no, I already answered that. But Venti Soy Latte states, asks, what does Hake like to do to pass the time on long flights? Well, Venti Soy Latte, I like to sit, chill, look out the window. Hopefully I get a window seat. Look out down on the clouds or on the terrain, the land, way down below. Watch a movie maybe, and sleep. Nice. Malkuthek says, hey, decent whites are boring. That's why the mainstream doesn't cover them. Interesting statement. Interesting statement. There's not mess to show. So they don't show the mess. But they show two people. Two people is more boring than a big crowd, though, right? It's not, I don't think that's the whole story, Malkuth. I think there's an agenda on top of the less entertaining aspect. Right? Seems like it. Hake, where'd you find that video? That video was from TKR Official on Telegram. t.me/TKR Official. The Crypto Report. Ice Bibby 42. Hake, do I need to say it? Justin Trudeau looks like he enjoys being blanked. Actually, that's even just saying that sounds too vulgar. He doesn't mean like that, people. By younger blanks. This is America, Justin. Go blank. Eh? Yeah, they say eh? Nice. Ice Bibby 42, who also states, also, Hake, what is the email I can send a story to? I found something you might be interested in, Hackster. Well, Ice Bibby 42, you can send it to me by going to typing in the Hake Report at gmail.com. It works. Send it while it lasts. Nice. Lorena H. says, what is the best way to go when you're in a store and someone just starts cussing at you for not wearing a mask? People are so angry, it's unbelievable. Well, it depends on the situation. Be aware of your surroundings so you know the right escape, and be alert and present so that the Holy Spirit may guide you to do whatever you need to do, or say whatever you need to say, or duck, see whatever coming, you know? Someone cussing at you for not wearing a mask? Those are insane people. Keep your distance from insane people. Angry people. Not just insane, but angry. Because angry people commit violence at times. And some of them don't commit violence. They do other evils. But you don't want to get yourself hurt. So hopefully that's decent enough advice. People are so angry, and it is unbelievable, but believe it. It's reality. Terrible stuff. Neil Young said to remove Joe Rogan now, or me. You can have Rogan or me, not both. And so Spotify is removing Neil Young. Because it has been. And I heard, that I'm not sure if it's true, that his music isn't even that great. Only if you grew up with it for nostalgia purposes, which nostalgia is nice. But what a mess, huh? Shameful. Let me get to Chris in Arizona. Chris, how you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great, James.
Hey.
Wow, it's so nice to finally get to talk to you.
I know, it's been a while.
Yeah, Cassie just started homeschooling, and she called you the first week she was homeschooling.
Yeah.
I actually meant to call you, and I told her I was going to call you, and she's like, no, I want to talk to him. I was like, okay.
Nice.
And
yeah,
I thought
that was cool to
really
hear from
fun.
her.
Yeah. So I had a question about homeschooling.
Okay.
And I was wondering, like, what was the thing that you really disliked about it? Because I don't want to make, like, mistakes and make her not like it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I didn't like that I didn't see my friends because I liked playing with my friends. And I didn't like when I came back to regular school, and then all of a sudden in 7th grade, all the bad kids from the other surrounding schools that don't have 7th and 8th grade, which was considered junior high back then, all the bad kids, poor kids, started coming to our school. So I was back amongst a bunch of strangers, but also some of my other friends. But some of my other friends had changed a little bit. And then these stranger kids, bad kids, are all quote unquote racist against whites. And all of a sudden I didn't fit in. I wasn't like well liked anymore. Like I wasn't even respected. So it was, and I felt ill prepared for dealing with that social mess. So as long as I don't really see her running into that exact problem, because she doesn't seem like a shy person at all.
Yeah, she's not shy.
Yeah.
She talks to everybody.
Right.
When she was little and we'd go to the store, she would just start talking to everybody. I'm like,
Right.
look, you don't know them.
Yeah.
She's very outgoing. And as far as the middle school here, well, it's junior high, and it's not a good school at all. I don't want her going there.
Right.
I've been on the campus, and I've had to go there because my older kids went to that school, and the kids are just so unruly and rude. I'm just a parent visiting the campus because I had to go to the band room and pick up like a marching outfit for my daughter who plays clarinet. And the kids were in line and just looked at me and said something awful to me. I'm like, wow, the teachers really have, I don't know, the kids are just...
Yeah, they're out of control.
They're out of control. And so she does go to her elementary school every day, the one that she went to before she was homeschooling.
Oh, really?
And she meets with her. There's a park right next to it. So she goes there when school gets out, and that's her gym class. She runs around the park with her friends.
Okay.
After they get out of school. So she's still seeing her friends all the time.
Nice.
She has a friend that comes over to the house every day after they're done playing at the park. And that brings me to a field trip that I plan on taking Cassie on. And there's this guy, Dean, with Arizona Timeless Tourists or something, and he told me about this place where there's petroglyphs on these really, old writings on the petroglyphs. So I'm planning on taking her to a field trip, and that helps with the attendance. And there's also someplace in Arizona where the Apollo missions, where they have an exact replica of the surface of the moon.
Wow. And
that kind of plays into, I'm like, so all these people that think the Earth is flat, that we didn't really go out into space, is some of this created on that, Arizona land where
That's
they have
funny. Yeah.
I know. I'm thinking that. I'm like, it's an exact replica of the moon. I don't know. I haven't checked it out, but it's way north, like in Phoenix area. So that one's going to be one where, it would be like an overnight stay or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And is her father involved in the schooling of her at all, or see her much?
He is. He has her. We have dual custody, so he has her 1 week on and 1 week off, right?
Oh, okay.
But I see her every day here at the house. Her schooling is every day here.
Oh, okay.
But he's helping her with her math.
Nice.
Thank God.
That's how my dad was.
Terrible at math.
He helped me with math. Although I didn't need much help. You just go through the books and do the practice. But
what was great is that she volunteered. She took her math to him and said, hey, I'm having an issue with this problem in the wording. I don't really understand the wording.
Right.
And he is able to help her, and I thank God for that.
Nice. That's cool. Well, I wish you guys well, and I wish Cassandra well, too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And, just don't be too imposing. Make sure you're continuing to pray, and whatever happens.
Amen. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the call, Chris. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
Talk
Take care.
to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Francisco, a first-time caller from New York City, has another topic to discuss. What's up, Francisco?
What's up, Hake?
Hey.
I'm just calling because every time I get the chance, I try to listen to your show live.
Nice.
But because of my job, I'm not able to.
Oh, yeah.
I go through your videos, your old videos, every time I had the chance as well.
Cool.
So I was listening to one of your old videos from 2 weeks ago, and I remember one of your callers, to be specific, Darling Armour.
Oh yeah.
Was calling about China,
Mm-hmm.
saying that China in some way is attacking, poisoning, or responsible for some of the things that are happening here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I just want to tell you and the people who listen to this show that China or any other nation is not responsible for any of the problems here. Not at all.
Not at all?
And, I mean, not at all. Yeah, exactly. China has nothing to do with what is going on here, or Russia, or any other nation. So he was talking about. I remember plastic rice, like they sending like rice here that is plastic.
I don't know if if they were sending it here, but some of the rice was plastic instead of rice.
Anywhere. That doesn't make any sense because plastic is not edible.
I know.
If you boil it,
but they sell it.
If you boil it, you're gonna notice that it's not food. So that doesn't make any sense.
Oh, but you were not aware that that's a real story, though? It actually happened.
Maybe.
Oh man, no, it's not. It's, at least from what I heard, I don't think that it's a maybe. I've heard that it's like legitimate story.
Because what he say about the baby formula, for example, is true, but it happened in China.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was isolated to the southern provinces of China, mainly Hong Kong.
Okay.
Not even the whole country.
Yeah.
And over 50,000 babies died because
wow. Really?
but, yeah. There were.
What was in the baby formula?
There was a chemical named melamine. Not melanin.
Melamine.
Melamine, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you put on like your cabinets. If they're plastic interior, it's usually melamine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What happens with melamine is like when you try to sell a food product, it has to have a nutritional value, right?
Yeah.
For example, proteins and sugar.
Oh. And it was artificially upping
the protein levels and the
terrible.
milk.
I'm laughing, but it's so evil.
By the way, the person responsible for that was a woman. No surprise.
Wow. Was this woman in charge of a company, or was she a government official greenlighting?
No, she was a government official, and she was part of the company as well.
Oh yeah. See, they're corrupt.
Knew about it. Yeah, and she knew about it.
So you agree with him that much of China is like a corrupt culture, but that their issues, that they're not, they have nothing to do with what we're suffering here?
Exactly. I agree with him.
Okay.
China has its problems like any other nation.
Yeah.
But China is not attacking the U.S. It's not provoking the U.S. China is not sending warships to the Gulf of Mexico, for example.
Who is?
It's the opposite. The U.S. is sending warships, and it has a lot of military bases around it.
Around China?
The U.S. is it's the U.S. that provoking China. It's not the opposite.
The U.S. is. You may be right about this stuff. I know that the U.S. is. Is that because the U.S. is trying to protect Taiwan and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Taiwan's independence.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, he rattled off some stuff that did sound like it was true. For example, the China virus. Do you think that came from China? It was leaked from irresponsible China?
I don't think China was responsible for it. I do believe it was created in a lab, but I don't think like the CCP released it.
It's
just too convenient for a group of people. It's just too convenient.
You mean intentionally? You mean intentionally?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm talking about. I don't even know if it was created in a lab or not. I'm just saying it seems like it was managed in one of these labs. And these labs, according to independent media like Zero Hedge, and actually some of our senators, there's a senator who's been talking about this for a while, and he's kind of a rhino, but he's also okay in some ways. He said that they have a history of leaking by accident, usually, maybe. Leaking stuff getting out because they don't have as good of safety protocols as America, which maybe America's safety protocols are on decline as well.
Also, and also the things that they eat.
So you're saying that it's not
bad.
intentionally their fault, but it is unintentionally their fault.
Yeah, it came big. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
At that point, what's the difference?
Oh, well,
Because aren't they doing kind of a cover-up? Because they don't want to be responsible for their failure?
Exactly. They don't want to be responsible for it, but it doesn't mean that it was malicious. There was no intention.
Whether it's malicious or not, it's corrupt, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I agree.
So in that sense, China does have a little bit to do with what's going on, although our overreaction to the virus is much worse than the virus itself, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you are right. I totally agree, and I don't think Donning Armour would really disagree with you in his defense.
Yeah.
That the corruption in America is a bigger root problem of our issues in America than China, for sure.
You have to understand that most of those talking points, they come from outlets like Epoch Times, which is a propaganda machine funded by the FALON GONG and the CIA.
It's funded by the CIA, you're saying?
Yeah. The CIA is involved with them. And the FALON GONG as well.
Is it true propaganda or is it false propaganda?
True propaganda. They are anti-CCP. They don't.
Right.
They are against the Chinese government.
And the propaganda that they put out, is it truth or lies?
Most of it is lies.
Really?
Like Like for example, listen. The only thing you're not allowed in China is to talk bad about the government. There's no such thing as like Christian being put in prison for being in church. There's no such thing as organ harvesting or anything of those.
You don't think so? I don't know if that's true or not.
I personally went once to China in 2018.
Uh-huh.
And went to 2 provinces. And I met people from China. I met people here from, because, New York City is just full of Chinese people.
Yeah.
I work with them. I go out with them, so they all know. And mind you, these are people from Taiwan. And these Chinese people that live here, they don't like the CCP.
Right. Can you blame them?
They call it straight. Yeah, no, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. But they call it straight. They say, this is propaganda, man. Don't listen to that.
You're talking about the Epoch Times being propaganda.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
what are you, Francisco? Are you Hispanic? What are you?
Yeah, I'm Dominican.
Okay.
Yeah, Dominican. I look like a Muslim, but yeah, Dominican.
Okay. Like a black Hispanic then. You look a little bit black?
Kind of, yeah. Pretty light skin.
Okay. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the truth is about China. I know that America is doing a lot of evil. We're killing, I say we, but I mean like the American establishment is killing a bunch of babies. They're not innocent either. I kind of roll my eyes about when America grandstands about human rights against, violations by China.
Exactly.
To me, that's just politics. But I don't know if the Epoch Times is lying. I don't know if it's telling the truth or lying. I'm just saying.
They're not lying about everything, but they do lie. But because I don't want to.
How do you know that they're lying?
Because of the talking points.
But the talking points, everything that Donning Armour said, seemed to be true. For example, you don't know everything. You hadn't even known that the plastic rice thing was a real thing.
But if it's real, because I gotta do my research on that. But if it's real, I never heard of it. I never heard of that happening here in the U.S., Europe, South America, Japan, or anywhere.
So then you can't say that China's problems are not just like any other countries. They're a little bit unique to China. And each country has problems unique to themselves. It's not just like any other country.
But my point is, where I'm trying to go. I don't want to take much of your time, but
no problem.
Listen to this. All of the problems that have been going on here in this country, I come from the country. The people responsible for those problems are here.
Right. But
Not
I
in
hear that
China, not in Russia.
the organ harvesting stuff, I hear that is real. Not to be
It
confused
might
with
be.
Israel.
Might be, but we
How
don't
do you know
yet.
that that's not true? Organ harvesting.
Because it's incredibly complex. Organ harvesting is not like the movies. Like you're gonna grab a person and you're gonna open it, like if it's a refrigerator or something, take their organs. Like it's a really complex.
I know, but they do. Chinese people are clever imitators of American ingenuity, and they're able to come up with this stuff. It's not like they're not able to do complex things, man.
So
And then I heard too that Americans over in China, officials over there, were subjected, and this was so vulgar. I wanted to cover it, but it's also so vulgar. Subjected to like testing, China virus testing, but not in the facial orifices, down somewhere else in the lower orifice, which is not I think that's humiliating. I think that's vulgar, and I think that that's so typical of the Chinese. They want to humiliate us. Who knows? Who knows? But I heard that they're doing that. Like, can I say that word? I don't even want to say the word. They're swabbing people down in their private area.
Yeah, and they're gonna start again because they stopped doing it. They're gonna start doing it again.
China are jerks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, what do you think about the policies and the laws? That's another point. All the policies and all the laws they are the root cause of the decline of this country.
Yeah, our own failure.
Been going on for decades.
Yeah, we've been letting. In fact, we've been letting the Chinese come in and buy up our land with cash.
For example, the evil 1965 Immigration Act. No, China has nothing to do with that.
They've certainly exploited it.
Yeah, but
they've exploited the student visa thing.
I'm just gonna say this to.
But anyway, I don't think anybody really thinks that China's our main problem. He was just.
Yeah, but just for the people.
Why are you defending it?
I'm not defending it.
Yeah, you are. You said you said the organ harvesting's not happening. Now you say you don't know.
Because we don't have proof.
But you can't say that it's not happening. You say I don't know if it's happening.
But you cannot.
And
say
you may not have proof, but other people may have proof.
But they have to show it.
But maybe they've been trying to show it, and you dismiss it as propaganda from the FALON GONG.
So far, they haven't.
You don't know that. You didn't even know about the plastic rice.
But
My only point is you're saying stuff is not true. That's just as bad as people saying stuff is true that they don't know to be true.
Well,
especially when it comes to China, they're atheistic communists who believe in Karl Marx.
Evil people.
Yeah, Karl Marx is not even a Christian.
The politician.
Yeah. Anyway, and the people are corrupt.
Remember this, Hake. No other country has ever indoctrinated or forced your children to become trans or homosexual. No other country has called you a domestic terrorist. No other country has fired you from your job because of your opinion, of your views. No other country has promoted feminism or abortion. No other country has sent your people to the Middle East.
You're talking about the outsider countries are not the ones responsible for the corruption in our own country. I agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Millions of people from the third world.
Thanks,
no
man.
other country.
Yeah.
So
But don't be embracing China just because America's corrupt.
I'm not embracing them.
I know.
I'm just telling you, don't focus on other countries. Your problems are here.
Yeah.
The people
but you know me. But you know me, Francisco. You catch my show whenever you can. I rarely.
I've been listening to you since you started.
And how often have I mentioned China?
Like not. If you mention them after the China virus.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't mention China because I'm really not interested.
Yeah,
in fact, I mock the. Hold on, Francisco. In fact, I mock the rhinos who are grandstand about China when we have. I make the same point that you're making. We have our own problems here that they're allowing.
I was gonna tell you that you are very refreshing. Like listening to your show is like a breath of fresh air, because other conservatives don't talk about the topics that you talk about.
Nice, man.
They don't have the same perspective. You try to tell people here that, listen, Americans, especially white Americans,
Yeah.
you have to stand up against this nonsense.
And the POCs should stand up on behalf of the whites, because it is an attack.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm grateful of this country. I appreciate this country.
Yeah.
This country has given me the opportunity to grow,
Yeah.
to achieve something, to achieve some things that I couldn't achieve back in DR, in the Dominican Republic. That's why I came here. That's why I appreciate the people in this country, appreciate the system, appreciate everything. And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
And Americans, especially white, should be grateful because they built this country.
Yeah.
Not exclusively, but let's say 90% of the job was done by them.
I know. Well, Francisco, another point, quick point that I do want to mention about China in the defense of the people criticizing China, they are producing the fentanyl and shipping that to Mexico. And Mexico, many illegals or drug traffickers are bringing that up to America. So China is no innocent player. But point taken, man. It's great to hear from you. Take care, man.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
You as well. Wow. Interesting. Hake doesn't know much about China. That's for sure. That's for sure. I leave it as kind of an I don't know. Ooh. Let me quickly get to Greg in Delaware. I got to get to Greg. Greg, nice to hear from you, man. How are you?
Hey, good, James. Good to talk to you.
Nice.
It's funny that the guys from the Dominican Republic, I have my biggest gold stock is waiting for approval from their government, and then they'll be able to start mining. And so that country is killing me right now. And previously, I had a stock in Venezuela and lost all of that. So I hope that doesn't happen in the Dominican Republic. Anyway, I don't know the FALON GONG at what point. I just picked you up maybe 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But that got my attention because I just saw the movie Unsilenced. Was that part of the discussion?
The movie Unsilenced, I had not heard of, and he didn't mention it either, but he said that this Falun Gong and the CIA are behind the epic times. And the Falun Gong, I hear, is a so-called cult. Like, what's not a cult? Give me a break.
Right, right.
The Falun Gong are like this sort of religious Tai Chi type people, and they seem to be, they act like they are Christian-friendly, Trump-friendly, pro-America, anti-China, anti-CCP, meaning communist. So they're okay in my book. They're not perfect. I heard that they did not, the mainstream media did a blackout against Congressman Steve King when they were trying to smear him as a so-called white supremacist. And so even Epic Times did not grant him any interview or whatever. So they're hit and miss, but mostly they seem okay, I think. But what do you say about them?
Well, I had never heard of them up until I saw the movie Unsilenced this week. And an American newspaper reporter was in China when China tried to crack down on the Falun Gong. And the reason that they were trying to crack down on the Falun Gong, this is hard for Americans to understand, but maybe Democrats will. In China, there are people that they see the Chinese Communist Party the way Christians see God. And they have a dedication to it and a love of it, and they really think that's where it's at. I know it's, like I say, other than Democrats, maybe in this country, that's hard to understand.
The government is God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see it as like a evil we're stuck with, and we're always trying to limit it. But there are some people in here that really love, the government. Otherwise,
right.
Biden wouldn't have a 30% approval rating or whatever he has. Anyway, having said that, when this crackdown was going on, this American newspaper reporter just happened to be there. He covered it. He covered the people that were killed in torture chambers. He got firsthand information. He got one of the guys, the leader of the group that was trying to say that Falun Gong was okay. They got him out of the country because they tried to murder him. Anyway, it's a great movie. I don't want to give away any more than that.
Okay.
But for this guy, and the reason they didn't like Falun Gong is it was wherever it was widely practiced, crime was going down, people were more responsible, which is, of course, the same thing the Democratic Party does with Christians in this country, right? They don't want independent, responsible people.
Yeah.
They want government-dependent people.
Right.
And but for him to say this stuff is not happening in China is absolutely ridiculous. You know.
Okay.
Of course, we know it's happening. But anyway, if you get a chance, I don't know where it's playing in L.A., but if you can watch that movie, or any of your listeners can watch that movie, it's really, really good.
Appreciate the tip.
Yeah, there's a scene in there. My favorite movie scene ever up to this point was in Ben-Hur, where Charlton Heston character is being marched off to the gallows, and Jesus, before he was, quote, Jesus, he was just a young carpenter, brings him water. I don't know if you've ever seen that scene, but it's such a good scene.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I watched the beginning of Ben-Hur. I don't know if I finished it. I was being homeschooled, and I was getting tired. It's like a 4-hour movie, as I recall.
Yeah, it's pretty long. I don't know if it's 4 hours. But anyway, there's a scene in there where he meets Jesus before he's, Jesus. He's just a carpenter. And it's just a great scene. I don't even want to describe it because it'll kind of give it away to people. But there's a scene in Falun Gong which, to me, rivals that in terms of when you see truth, and truth is just so powerful that it just awakens you. There was that kind of scene in that movie. Anyway, that's it.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate it.
Yep. Okay, thanks, James.
All right. Bye. Ben-Hur, runtime, 3 hours and 32 minutes. Okay, it's not 4 hours. Ooh. Quickly, let me get to Denny in Bulgaria. Denny, what's up, man?
Good evening, Mr. Hake. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can.
How you doing? I was calling you because I have something like a testimony. Real quick, I know you're busy.
No problem.
You and Jesse often talk about hard work, not blaming anybody, and stuff like that. Long story short, when I was a teenager, I was basically a mess. I was just the same as Jesse and as you often pointed. It's not about color, nationality, race, or whatever. It's a spiritual thing. And I was in exactly that kind of a spot. And when I was a teenager, often I was like, this one is holding me back, and that one is holding me back. It was terrible. But luckily, I had really decent parents, and they taught me to ask one question only. And let's say somebody's holding you back. Ask yourself, why? And then the second one, ask yourself, how? And if you can't answer it, because basically there isn't an answer, you understand that you're the only person who holds yourself back. As long as you have that mentality, you always lose. As long as you don't have that mentality, as long as you understand that the problem is not in somebody else, but in you, you will always be fine. You will find a way to work even harder. You will find a way to improve yourself. You will find a way to do even better, and things will just happen from there on.
That is so true, man.
Indeed it is, sir. And that's why I was calling. Thank you for taking my call. Thank you for having that show of yours. And all the best, sir. Happy Friday, and have a lovely weekend.
Thank you. Same to you, Denny. It's great to hear from you again.
Goodbye, Mr. Hake.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Take care. That reminds me of what Greg from Delaware said about the government likes people to be victims and to be a mess, criminals, and dependent on the government and in some crisis or other. That's why they licked their chops over the China virus. They're constantly blaming the whites, the diminishing population, the most under attack population in America, to keep these people in a mess, a spiritual evil. Very cool. Very nice. I'm going to get to more of your calls, guys. I'm going to also talk about the attack on the white man in the culture. Joe Rogan, that podcast host, my competitor, he interviewed a former guest of Jesse Lee Peterson, Jordan B. Peterson, again, recently. And he talked about it's open season. He didn't say that. On the white man. But he did say that. But first, an intermission in honor of Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments and Sound of Music, those long movies. We need an intermission, right? It's coming up on the top of the hour, guys. And I like to play Human Television lately, right? Human Television, the band from early 2000s, early mid-2000s. This is from the 2006 album, Look at Who You're Talking To. May not be grammatically correct or sentence structure right, but it's still a nice album from 2006 on Gigantic Records. Human Television, the track is entitled Untitled. And it feels like a long song. It feels like it's 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes, but it's not. It's only 3 minutes. Okay, so I'll be right back in a few, guys. Enjoy, and I'll see you in hour 2. Hang on.
Follow us right in the middle of an ongoing summer, and sun and sick as a dog, calling all. Right when you swore to burst your curse words, could have been there right before you got here. But in that case, second place again. Fraction, distant second. Fraction, distant second. Right when you swore to burst your curse words, could have been there right before you got here. But in that case, but second place again.
This is great music for me to poop on, says Slam Free Poetry. Oh, man, well, that's a throwback. Is this Hake's second favorite song from Human TV? Asks Willie Powell. Unsubscribe, says, you told Harpo to beat me. Calling this emo is an insult to emo bands, says Absolute Death. Yeah, I don't think of it as emo. Maybe. Nice try, Human Television, but you're not emo enough, says Tim Scott, the real one, not the rhino. Not the boring rhino from the Senate. Well, guys, thank you for bearing with me through that music. Some of you guys think I should do different artists every time. Hake, I'm on mute. Tell me when the song ends. Okay, Richie, song's over. The voice effect too strong. I can't even understand. Sounds like Bruce Jenner singing. Beta voice, quote unquote, singing. Good song, Hake. Check out The Robot Ate Me, says Ryan H.U. Passive-aggressive Hake. Passing is passive-aggressive with his enjoy chips. Well, Hake listens to some real garbage. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So before I get back to calls, I'm getting to Jonathan in Palo Alto next. Lots of you on hold. One line open, but I got to show this to you. I saw this also on TKR Official on Telegram. Real Clear Politics report, headline. Joe Rogan says there are now protected classes in comedy. One thing you can mock relentlessly, though, is white men. And this video was shared by the Post-Millennial on Twitter. Jordan B. Peterson, who has appeared on the Jesse Lee Peterson show way back in like 2016 or something. Maybe 2017. And Joe Rogan, the podcast host and UFC talker guy, comedian, blah, blah, blah. Fear Factor guy. They talk about comedy and how there are people, certain quote-unquote groups or fake identities that the woke say nobody can joke about. Listen to this. 13? Oh, yeah, 13.
I think people are going after comedy for a different thing today because they're going after comedy for a literal representation of what the words mean if you put them in print. And that's nonsense.
Yeah,
like, that's not what a comedian is doing.
Well, they're doing that. They're doing that because there are some things they believe that can't be made fun of.
Yeah, but really what they're doing is just looking for targets. They're playing a game. The rules of the game have been established. Comedy violates the rules of the game.
Yeah, what are the rules?
Because comedy take those things. Well, there's a lot of things you can't joke about.
Mm-hmm.
You can't joke
Sacred
about
things.
Yeah, there's protected classes now. Mm-hmm. We all know what they are. We don't even have to bring them up. You know, whether it's trans people, gay people, people of color, Asian people, whatever those things are. One thing you can mock relentlessly is white people, specifically white males. It's one of the.
Well, they are pretty funny, you know.
Oh, sure, we're ridiculous, but it's a funny pejorative that people will say about like a group of folks. They're primarily white males. Like that's a pejorative. Like that's like
it's my audience. That's what everyone says.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking to those young, angry young white males.
But isn't that funny that means something negative?
Yeah, it's not funny.
But it's horrible. But it's a horrible generalization.
Yep. It's kind of like what I played for you yesterday. And I don't know why Jordan's acting like that. He seems like all too easy to be like dismissive. I don't know. He seems to be acting funny. Maybe it's my imagination. He seems to be, well, I don't know. He's gone through a lot. A little broken right now. Not sure why he was wearing it. If you were watching the video, he was wearing like a tuxedo or a bow tie, which looked odd. Rogan recently moved out of Los Angeles. Whole lot of people moving out of Los Angeles. Moved his liberal self, his Bill Clinton, Barack Obama loving, supporting self from LA to, I think, like Austin, Texas, maybe Austin. So all these people moving themselves and taking their fake liberal values, but slightly less off the deep end anti-white values over to these conservative havens like Rhino, Texas is supposed to be. And I call it Rhino because look at all the politicians who are coming out of Texas. The governor, I consider him a total rhino. Ted Cruz, he's proved himself quite the rhino. And others. That light-skinned black congressman who quit because he hated Trump. I'm blanking on his name, but he's out of Texas. Austin is extremely liberal. Yeah, I've heard that. But he is right about that. Those guys are right about that. That, oh, it's a bad thing that most of your audience is white males, they say to Jordan B. Peterson. Young white males, angry young white males. When they kiss up to the angry young black males, they validate and stir up the false anger of the black males, and they mock and dismiss and marginalize and silence and shut up the whites. What a mess, huh? Especially the whites who are saying anything true. I told you that. Remember that they were all, I told you some liberal organization called Midas Touch or something like that, MEIDAS Touch. Some huge anti-Trump, propped up podcast or PAC, Super PAC or something like that, PAC, Political Action Committee, pretended that it's such a scandal that Mitch McConnell, the rhino of rhinos, Mitch McConnell, although he is an experienced politician, which helps a little, he said, oh, my party, the Republican Party, does pretty well with whites. I'm proud of that. And well, it's doing less and less well with whites because they're not standing up for whites or for what's right. You know what I mean? But they're pretending like that's a bad thing, that it does well with whites. When everybody brags about, oh, we're doing well with the blacks. The black woman is God. She voted 98% for a Democrat in Alabama. 98%. Anyway, they don't care about being consistent. You know, we all know this. The commies. Anyway, let me get to Jonathan in Palo Alto, California. What's up, Jonathan? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, James?
Going well.
Cool. Awesome. So this guy who's all kissing China's rear end there.
You think that's what he was doing? He might have been. I couldn't tell.
I think so, man. I mean, well, it's like he was just, maybe he was just so wrong about everything. He didn't even have any idea what he was doing, really.
He's referring to my caller from the first hour, Francisco, from, I think, New York, who said that China's not human organ harvesting or doing anything that is hurting America. Yeah.
Yeah, so crazily wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, the one point I kind of wanted to just get was that he said that America's the only place that supports abortion.
You know,
well,
English may be his second language, and so he may not have meant it like that. But you're right.
Okay.
America is not the only place supporting abortion, and by and large, it's the subverted, formerly white, formerly Christian countries that are pushing this abortion mess, and China's probably pushing abortion, right?
I guess maybe. Oh, sorry, the leaf blower. Let me go the other way. I guess maybe we're the only. I don't know, but maybe we're the only country that like ships our tax dollars overseas to pay for them. But
yeah,
which is
and that's
awful,
only
but
under the Democrats. The Mexico City policy, I think, is what it's called, and we pay for foreign abortions when we don't have the Mexico City policy or something like that. I think it was under Reagan. Reagan stopped funding abortions, foreign abortions, overseas or whatever. And then I guess Bush kept it, or maybe it was Bush who started it. Clinton started to fund abortions overseas again. And then Bush, the W, got rid of them. The first thing Obama did in office was fund abortions overseas. And then you hear my caller, I don't know if you're familiar, I'll tell the whole story for you, for Joe from Phoenix, Arizona. His excuse for supporting Obama was wants abortions to be rare. And the funding of abortions overseas, it also funds other medical services. So it's not just funding abortions overseas. But what a joke. And so Trump stopped it, and then Sleepy Joe Biden, which is Obama again, basically, funded. The so-called Catholic funded abortions overseas or foreign abortions. Ridiculous.
Yeah, man. They're constantly supporting what they're against and fighting against what they're supposed to be for, you know?
Who's they? Who's
just the lefties and all that or whatever.
Oh, yeah. They don't care about being hypocrites. You can't even, they're hypocrites. Yeah. They don't care about that. They're going to keep on pushing. They're shameless. We need to be shameless for what's right.
Man.
Yeah. Nice, man.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say, because, China, they may be the only people that actually mandate abortions.
Oh yeah.
For if you have a girl, like, and they have a 2-child policy and stuff like that. So
I
like
heard
saying
I heard that it was recently up to 3 now.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. I know that they were like, I heard that they were drowning the girls, and that's why a lot of the Chinese boys are not morally straight, because they don't have any girls to choose from. But I don't know if that's true.
Dude, that's what happens when you get rid of God from your culture there.
Yep.
You know, yeah. Yeah, man. And I mean, they, you know, what they do to dogs and stuff is just like, just barbaric. Man.
Dogs?
Dogs, yeah.
Oh, dogs.
Think,
don't they just eat them? Nothing wrong with eating dogs.
Well, okay, but they think they taste better if they boil them alive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like, sort of
that's wrong.
Inhumane. Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I didn't know that.
You know. Yeah, so these guys, they have like negative morals, like just their culture.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was arguing with about communism with a guy named Haz. Infrared is his channel, and he was saying that China. I talked about the corruption of the people.
Yeah, I watched that. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, and he was saying that the people are not corrupt because of communism. People are just corrupt around the world. Well, I don't think that it's necessarily corrupt because of communism. They embrace communism because they are corrupt, which only encourages more corruption. So I don't know.
Yeah, they have that power vacuum in their souls because the state is God instead of God.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. They're an atheistic anti-God society.
Yeah, that's what I say to the atheists. I say, when they say, you know, there is no God or whatever, I say, what's your God?
Right.
You know, and then they say, nothing, no, like there is no God. And I say, okay, so that there is no God is your God.
Right.
Okay,
and you know what? It's more than that, because when you get to the nitty-gritty, what cured, you know, I don't know if you heard my debate or discussion with T-Jump the other day. Yeah. He said that he had severe depression while he was a Christian and a young man. And what cured his depression was, he said, lots of sex, meaning women are his God. They saved him from his depression. Yeah. And if he were to to end his relationships with these women, then he thinks, fall back into that depression. Isn't that interesting?
Exactly.
So the woman is God when you don't have the real God. Interesting.
Totally. Heck yeah, man.
Interesting, man. I appreciate it, Jonathan. Good to hear from you.
For sure, yeah. No worries. And shout out to Church with JLP.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the Silent Prayer. Definitely amazing as well.
Oh, yeah, the Silent Prayer. Cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm allowed to, but Skip McBurney's got a pretty good show there, too. I'll give a shout out to that guy there.
That's kind.
Yeah.
Take care, man.
Chicken Bones News Network.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right, man. See you later. Have a good one. Thanks
Have a good weekend. Very cool.
Right.
Bye. I'm getting a call from somebody who says, nothing wrong with eating dogs? He's all freaked out about that. But let me first get to Mark in Santa Monica. Mark, thanks for calling, man. Hope you're doing well.
Yes, sir. Very good, very good. I had a couple things, but the first thing is this guy from the Dominican that was an apologist for China. I was shocked that you didn't throw fentanyl at him, but that's not the main thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to say that.
In fact, I saw your call, and that's what made me remember about that issue. So I threw that at him toward the end there. I don't know if you heard me.
Right. He really had no answers, because he really didn't know what he was talking about. But just to clear the air with everybody listening, Peter Schweitzer's new book on Red China. Tucker Carlson had him on the show, and Hannity had him on his show, Schweitzer, and he reveals the connection between the CCP, the Communist Chinese Party, and the Bushes, and the Bidens.
Yeah,
They
interesting.
Yes, and if you read that book, you'll know just who our real enemies are. I mean, in this country, the domesticated enemies would be Black Lives Matter and Antifa. But on a global, as far as the global scene, it would be the Red Chinese. And just one thing that you must know, when Lincoln Rockwell announced that he was running for president, he said the first thing he would do is nuke Red China. He would drop the H-bomb on Red China. And the first thing he would do, the first 5 minutes in office.
Whoa.
And he said that back in 1967.
Wow.
And if you look at the history, Richard Nixon opened up the gates to Red China in 1972. And now look where we're at. He went over to make peace with these devils, and now they're taking over the world and America. And I just want to say I think Red China is the biggest threat globally to our sovereignty and our well-being and our culture. And all the civil rights people love China. They love China. They won't condemn China. None of these civil rights leaders care about America. They hate America, and they hate the white man.
Yeah, because honestly, it's bigger than just Black Lives Matter and Antifa. I think you will agree with me that the American establishment is anti-American. And like you said, they are in with all the corrupt countries, including China.
Well, yeah, but first of all, I wish I could have been in your shoes an hour ago when that Dominican called, because I would have hit him with the virus that they started and brought over here and have made no apologies for.
Right.
Whether it was intentional or not, It seems to me that it was intentional, but that's yet to be seen. But I think in the end, just like the election being rigged, this will come out as well, that the Chinese intentionally started the virus in part to take Donald Trump out. And then the Democrats and the commies in this country did their part. And I don't know if I could say this or not, but to rig the election.
Yeah,
I know
you keep on saying it. What the heck?
Well, no, but
you don't know
expect
that you can say it, but you're going to say it anyway.
And
when you know that YouTube is censoring such talk. Are you a friend of the show?
Yes, but
then how come you keep on saying stuff that you know gets censored on YouTube, man? The heck is wrong with you?
Well, okay, as long as you don't say it, is my free speech censored too?
Yeah, of course your free speech is censored when you're talking on my YouTube channel. It's on YouTube.
Well, then I won't say it again.
All right.
But I
appreciate it.
Okay, but I'm just saying, though, I believe...
Isn't it crazy that we have to disavow this stuff? I disavow, okay? What a mess.
I disavow, but I believe, without proof, again, that the Chinese did intentionally spread the virus. I do believe that. I can say that, can't I?
You can say that. I don't know if they did it intentionally or not, but they are intentionally covering it up, it seems like.
Well,
For sure.
absolutely. And look at what it's done. And if you talk to some of these leftists in America, for example, Jane Fonda, she called the China virus a gift.
Wow.
And
yeah, because never let a crisis go to waste, right? It is a gift to the liberals.
I saw this disgusting video on YouTube from some Antifa guy down in San Diego, and he even said that through the virus, communism in America will come to power. Now, I don't know if he's talking off the top of his head.
I mean, look at it. We've seen it come to power. That's why I call it the communist shutdowns.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And this is all something that's working on their behalf. On the communist behalf and Antifa. And finally, I really have to tell you this. I saw a former law enforcement officer on a conservative network the other day, and he was talking about the influence and spread of Antifa. They're not just in the U.S., they're all over the world. I don't know that much about technology, but from what the man was saying, they have what's referred to as encrypted messaging boards, where they could communicate, hey, do some bad stuff here or do some bad stuff there. And it's an international globalist terrorist organization that Christopher Wray, the fraud that heads the FBI, says doesn't exist. Antifa doesn't exist in Christopher Wray's mind. just to let you know, if you don't know already, about a month ago, I think it was last year, the Antifa group in Greece bombed a police station and killed several police officers.
I had not heard that.
Now, the media...
Wow.
Yeah, you did hear it. Yeah, they don't like to put that out too much because they don't want to shine a negative light on Antifa. But just 2-3 weeks ago, the Jewish synagogue that was attacked by an Arab terrorist, the FBI said it wasn't terrorism initially. They changed their tune, but initially said it wasn't terrorism and they were not targeted because they were Jews. So that tells you who today's FBI is. And he went on, this law enforcement officer on the show that I was watching, went on to say, in today's FBI, since the priority is to go after imaginary white supremacists, you will get promoted if you take on this imaginary enemy. But if you go after Antifa or the real terrorist, Black Lives Matter, you're not going to go anywhere. Their priorities are to attack the white man and the right wing, and allow these. Yes. So I just wanted you to know that.
I appreciate it. It's good to hear from you, Mark.
I just wish sometimes I could take your place in that chair and take on some of these clowns that call in. I really would.
Well, I understand, and I appreciate you calling in and setting the record straight, Mark. Thank you, man.
God bless. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. Man, I got to get to some super chats, guys, and I have an announcement as well. Let's see. Your girlfriend with a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report states, James is looking hecka fly in his USAF tee. That's right, I'm wearing a United States Air Force t-shirt. I forget where I got it. I was not in the Air Force. It's not stolen valor. My pops was in the Air Force. My dad, he worked on the Blackbird. He mounted spy cameras on it. Nice. Back in the day. I think he joined so that he wouldn't get drafted because this was during, mid-60s or whatever. I don't know what was going on. Vietnam or something like that. And he joined so that he would not get drafted, so that he would have a choice, and he chose the Air Force. Smart choice, probably, right? Avoid the wrong kind of action that you don't want to be messed with. Jordanos with a super chat on streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. You were like the white Jesse Peterson when you debate. Good job being yourself. Well, thank you, Jordanos, I guess. I appreciate that. That's kind. Thank you for the super chat and the support. Ice Bibby 42 with a super chat states, before I forget, best of luck against that phony Hunter Avalon. Hake, Hunter has zero substance in his arguments, and he'll try to challenge you with those surface-level arguments and blanket statements. Don't let him interrupt you, not on your birthday. Well, thank you, Bibby42, and indeed, I will be, quick announcement, guys, I will be on Modern Day Debate tomorrow afternoon, about 5 p.m. Pacific time. Modern Day Debate YouTube channel. The announcement is on my thehakereport.com website, thehakereport.com/appearances. I put up the blog post back on like the 8th of January because I thought I was going to debate him the same day because we scheduled it for the same day last minute, but then he had to bail and then we rescheduled it for MLK Day, had to cancel that, which was fine with me, and rescheduled it for that following Saturday. Oh no, that Saturday won't work, this Saturday. So the 29th, Saturday, January 29th, 2022 AD, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. James Hake debates Hunter Avalon on the question, is systemic racism real? Very cool, huh? So I don't think I'll be in the studio. I think I'm going to be off at some like friend's house. So hopefully my connection is good. I think it will be. Is systemic racism real? Hunter Avalon. I heard that he was a former Trump supporter. He was a young guy, and he turned kind of liberal. That's what I hear. Don't know much about him, but I'm looking forward to it. He has a pretty good following. So thank you to Modern Day Debate, James Kuntz over there. for the opportunity, and thank you in advance to Hunter Avallone, assuming that this does happen, and I think it will. Nice, right? And it's scheduled over there, Modern-Day Debate YouTube channel. I think it'll stream on Twitch, too. Very cool. Man, before I get Joe in Portland, Oregon, I am coming to you next. Hang on, man. But first, I got to play, or at least show, this little story, more of the attack on white men. Real Clear Politics is covering MSDNC's Chris Hayes, who's a purported white male talk show host over at that lame anti-Trump, anti-white, anti-American channel. And he says the right's take on Biden's SCOTUS pick, or alleged SCOTUS pick, or future SCOTUS pick, I don't know, Supreme Court of the United States, shows that they believe that white people are the best. Well, they are the fairest minded, and men especially, fair-minded. On the whole, otherwise the POCs wouldn't be by and large Democrats, or I call them demon rats. And then when they become Republicans, many of them are rhinos and believe in the racism thing and the sexism mess. So I have this clip, a few clips actually, clip 14A, B, C, and D. What do you guys think about Reagan? Was he a decent? Those of you who actually know history, because I hear some very good things, some pretty good things about him, and some very bad things about him, or people get very dismissive of him. And I don't know what the truth is. But this Chris Hayes guy plays a clip of Ronald Reagan promise from 1980, before I was born, before he was elected the first time as president of the United States. Ronald Reagan. Here he is making a promise, I guess, that he did not, thank God he did not keep. Listen to this.
Now, I'm announcing today that one of the first Supreme Court vacancies in my administration will be filled by the most qualified woman I can possibly find, one who meets the high standards I will demand for all court appointments. It's time for a woman to sit among our highest jurists.
Lame. Lame. Was he just saying that? Okay, so did he appoint 4 Supreme Court justices? I almost slipped and said that he appointed Clarence Thomas, but that was George H.W. Bush. And that's one of the things that, although I am not particularly a fan of Bush's so-called legacy, even the daddy, I really appreciate him for appointing Clarence Thomas, because Clarence Thomas turned out to be a solid guy. He appointed, wait, did he appoint Sandra Day O'Connor? Oh, okay. Then he did. He did come through with that. Okay. Interesting. Sandra Day O'Connor, Antonin Scalia, solid guy. Was he offed, or did he die of natural causes? What do you guys think? Or do you just leave it as, I don't know? Anthony Kennedy, William Rehnquist. Wow. Okay. Nice. So that was Ronald Reagan. He appointed Sandra Day O'Connor. Was she decent? Yeah. First woman nominated. Subsequently, the first woman confirmed. She's 91 years old. Republican woman. But I'm not for that. We need tough people. So anyway, that's Reagan. Now here's Biden. Biden last year, in March of 2020, before Sleazy Joe being a poser kiss-up, even worse than Ronald Reagan. Listen to him during the campaign making a similar pledge about a black woman. Ridiculous.
I committed that if I'm elected president and have an opportunity to appoint someone to the courts, I'll appoint the first black woman to the courts. It's required that they have representation now. It's long overdue.
That's so dumb. The Supreme Court is about justice, a judge. Judges are not representatives. Representatives are representation. And representatives aren't supposed to be racial representation. It's supposed to be about what's right. Is that white or is that typical white thinking? to care about what's right more than the race and gender mess. And what's right typically tends to be what the conservative Christian nationalist white man is for. Am I right? I'm right. Here's Biden again, just yesterday, I think, with his mess. He hasn't picked one yet, at least not out loud. And I don't even think he's the one picking. But here he is again, running his dumb mouth.
The person I will nominate will be someone with extraordinary qualifications, character, experience, and integrity. And that person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court.
What a joke. What a terrible joke. Last little clip. Our real president, Donald J. Trump, once a president, always a president. They can't take that away from him. He loved America so much that, according to Chris Hayes, he did or did not do this. Listen to this very brief clip.
Trump was the first president since Richard Nixon not to appoint a single black judge to a federal appeals court.
Yo, based? Nice. Although federal appeals court, that sounds like an asterisk. Maybe he appointed some black judges, just not to federal appeals courts. But that's nice. Nice. Anyway, Chris Hayes was trying to say, ooh, they meaning the conservatives who are saying it's ridiculous that this guy wants a black female. They believe white people are the best, supreme, you might even say, and that meritocracy means choosing white people, pretty much usually. And if you're not except for Clarence Thomas, he was solid. And if you're not choosing overwhelming white people, then you're engaged in affirmative action. Fact. It's the argument. The irony here is that it's also the argument the conservative Supreme Court is almost certainly going to make this year. They're almost certainly going to strike down race-based admission of higher education across the country. I hope he's right about that. I don't know if that's true. Because the Supreme Court's hearing affirmative action. Agreeing with precisely the same brain-dead meritocracy argument on view on cable news. What a mess. Chris Hayes, he's gotten a little chunkier over the years. Joe in Portland, Oregon, is on the line. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm good. How you doing, Hake?
No man is good. I'm fine. Doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, first of all, I just want to start off by saying that your last caller, Mark, he was awesome, and he should have his own YouTube channel.
That's kind of you to say. Nice.
Well, that's how I feel.
Nick says, don't encourage him.
No, he was great.
If he had his own YouTube channel, he might slip and say stuff that he's not allowed to say and get suspended.
He would learn.
Yeah, maybe so.
They all learn. You learned. But the main reason I was calling is because of a comment you made earlier that there's nothing wrong with eating dogs.
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about, Hake? Of course, there's everything wrong with eating dogs.
What's wrong with eating dogs?
Yeah, everything is wrong with eating dogs.
You say everything, but that's not naming one thing.
Okay, well, I'll name one thing.
Okay.
They are capable of suffering. They're capable of feeling pain and stress and fear, and they are not able to defend themselves.
How is that different from eating other animals?
It's not.
Or plants.
I feel the same way about all animals.
How about plants? Plants
do not have a central nervous system which is required to feel those things.
How do you know?
That's basic science.
Science is always changing.
Well, that's pretty basic. Do you honestly think that plants can feel pain?
So are you telling me that plants respond to stimuli?
Responding to stimuli is extremely different than feeling pain. Because they're two different things.
Are you telling me that it's that it's wrong for for the same reasons that you just listed to eat cows too and chickens?
Yep. Yes, I am, sir.
Wow. But didn't God say, I know you're an atheist, God said kill and eat.
I'm not an atheist.
Oh, okay.
I'm just not religious.
God told Peter or Paul in a dream, he brought down all these unclean animals and said, my apostle, I'm saying my apostle because I forget whether he was talking to Paul or Peter, kill and eat. And it was really a symbol, symbolizing, I guess, preaching to the Gentiles or something. So, do not call anything unclean that I have called clean. But your argument is not that these animals are unclean. Your argument is these animals have feelings and can't defend themselves.
Yes.
Of course they can defend themselves. They kill some of
No,
ours.
What are you talking about? They can't defend themselves. Come on, Hake.
They can
You're a
defend
smart
themselves.
man. No, they can't.
They have killed some people.
Hake, human beings have a higher intelligence than non-human animals.
Then we should
So
eat
human
them.
beings- so should we eat other humans that have mental development issues?
Obviously not, because you're making up false ideas about why we shouldn't eat stuff.
No, I'm using your same logic.
I wasn't using logic. I was just mocking. Big Bump
Well,
says
don't mock. Use logic.
no. Logic says
When you mock, you're resorting to being a child, basically.
but it takes
Use
sometimes
logic.
it takes
Be a
being
man.
sometimes it takes being like a child to have common sense and logic. Common sense says eating animals is fine.
No, common sense does not say that.
Yeah, it
common
does.
sense would tell you that a defenseless animal that can suffer, can feel pain, fear, and stress should be left alone. Humans have no need.
So you think you have
whatsoever
more
to eat
common
animal
sense?
products.
You think you have more common sense than most of the world ever?
on this particular issue?
Lame. That's not
Not on
common
every
sense.
issue, but on this particular issue, yes.
Does your dog wear a sweater?
Nope.
Do you have a dog?
Yes.
So you're a slave driver too.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Because you should not own another sentient being.
Animals also animals should be protected from many different things, and I'm protecting my dog.
That's nice.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a problem with you being a vegetarian, but that's funny that you came at me. You came at me about dogs specifically. And,
yeah. Well, I'm vegan actually, and
so you don't even eat eggs or cheese?
Nope.
Weak.
I
Eggs
have
and
not
cheese.
eaten-
Eggs and cheese don't feel pain.
No, but the animals
And milk.
that produce those products do feel pain. And
They
the
don't
way
feel
in
pain
which
having
we get-
laying eggs and being milked.
Oh, well, you're unfamiliar apparently with the chicken and egg industry, because the way that they're
I'm
treated
familiar
is
with it. But
it's
you ever heard of
it's like
family
something out of a
farms?
horror film.
There are nice ways to produce eggs and cheese and milk without this factory farm mess that you guys.
Well, first of all, I disagree, because there's always going to be abuse when you're exploiting animals for their products. Second of all,
you're such a girl.
99.9% of animal products do not come from family farms.
Are you the same one who exploits women for sex?
What do you mean? What are you saying?
Because you're talking about not exploiting animals, but you exploit and mutually exploit, and she exploits you, women for sex.
How?
You treat the animals better than the human beings.
When did I say that? What are you talking about? Maybe you're confusing me with someone else. I have sex with women.
Yeah, see?
But that's
That's
consensual.
exploitation.
It's consensual.
There's always it's consensual. It's under duress. She's gonna Me Too you pretty soon if you don't watch out.
Well,
I'm only
it's
making
never
this
happened.
point because you're not such a moral person just because you treat the animals all nice. You don't treat humans nice.
I'm definitely when it comes to animals, I'm an ethical person. When it comes to humans, I'm an ethical person.
But you're not ethical because you don't even believe in God. So you don't have ethics. You have limited ethics because you don't believe in God. And even the people who do believe in God have limited ethics. It's true. But
that's a ridiculous statement.
No, it's not a ridiculous statement though, because you don't treat the women right or yourself. You subject yourself to be exploited.
I treat them right. Have you talked to the women I've had sex with?
You've had sex. You've had sex out of wedlock. By definition, that's wrong.
But I'm not religious, so
you don't have to be religious for it to be wrong.
Why? What's wrong about it if I'm not religious?
I don't have to explain what's wrong with it. You know that it's wrong.
I agree 100% with you that if I'm Christian, I would be violating the rules of my religion. But I'm not religious.
But you already know that it's wrong.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You're playing dumb.
I don't think it's wrong.
You're playing dumb.
It's consensual.
No, it's by definition exploitative. You guys are exploiting each other, using each other. You don't care about each other.
People use each other all the time.
And so people use animals all the time. What's your beef with people using animals? And we feed them and house them and all that.
It's not consensual.
It doesn't have to be. Animals can't consent anyway.
Horribly.
You have a false value of consent. I told you you're not ethical. Consent is not an ethic. Regarding animals.
The animals are, they are not able to consent.
Do you eat Beyond
They're not
Meat?
able to tell. Do I eat it?
Yeah.
Not very often, but I've had it a couple times.
That's what's wrong with you.
What do you mean?
I'm just playing around.
That I've had Beyond Meat.
But that's so dumb.
Times in my life.
That's so. This whole consent thing about animals. You sound like every other lame female-minded liberal.
Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, you do. On this topic, you do. And on the sex topic, you do.
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and believe me,
Yeah, because don't you see? Hold on, Joe. Don't you see that women are getting older and older and more miserable and not having the kids? Because of this loose sleeping around culture? And you're contributing to that loose sleeping around culture.
Well, I'll tell you this. So
No. I just say yes or no. Do you acknowledge? Do you see that messed up culture where men and women are more and more miserable?
Yes.
See?
But that's if your whole goal is to only sleep around and have. But that's never been my goal. My goal has always been to find a wife and have a family. I just never got lucky enough to have that happen.
But it's not about luck. I think it's about having dignity and respect and self-control and going about things in the right traditional way. You threw out the tradition thinking, I can't figure out what's wrong with it, therefore it must not be wrong. Therefore I'm going to go on and do it. When in reality, I think deep down, I suspect that we all know that this is wrong. Or we all don't feel quite right about this sex thing, especially this sex out of wedlock thing and all these other vulgar perversions. But you're going on and doing it, and then you blame your bad luck on the fact that wasted your life and life force and energy on these women who don't even bear children for you. What a mess.
No, there's many more reasons that I never met the right woman. Many more reasons.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Man, we'll talk more about this sometime, Joe. It's fun talking with you.
All right, brother.
Good to hear from you.
Talking with you, man.
All right.
All right.
Take care. Oh, man. Kind of interesting, don't you think? Smiling faces tell lies. Hake, the great ones quote, King Drop keeps on saying. I stole that from a black song. Black American, though. Nice. Steven in Rhode Island. Thanks for calling, man. And Holden, what's up?
James, how are you?
Doing fine. Thank you.
I got a question for you. Do you think it's possible?
Are you on a speakerphone or what? You're coming through clearly.
Can you hear me now?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Do you think it's possible to rape your spouse?
What?
Rape
your spouse. I thought you said rape yourself.
No, a bunch of feminists are saying that it's possible.
Oh, I mean, I don't listen to the feminists. I don't know if it's possible or not. I think that people can be evil toward each other, whether they're, if they're even inside of a marriage. I don't know about if I would call it a rape, but I think that that's an attack on men, and it's just a snaky, sneaky way for females to accuse males and to destroy marriages and families and women and men and children. So raping your spouse, he's saying, meaning a man to rape his wife, because that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about wives raping their husbands. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's an attack on men.
The whole part of when you get married is that you're supposed to, you're supposed to consummate your marriage.
Right. That's what it's for, is so that you can have the babies.
Right. Exactly. So
do it in the orderly way, in the right way. Yeah.
I just wanted to pick your brain about that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because I'll tell you what, they have no proof, but they can just accuse, and people who accuse with no proof, especially women, but males too. Gays are doing it a lot. These men get quote unquote canceled. That's the Me Too movement. And even when there is any truth to whatever happened, it's not anybody's business but between them two. And then I guess if there's a crime that was committed, an actual crime, then you call the cops. But if they try to present proof, they do the secret recording and all kinds of mess. It's just a vulgar. Feminists are never for what's right, pretty much.
I just don't think it's biologically possible either, without getting into specifics. But anyways, great show, and enjoy your music.
Cool. I appreciate that.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, man. It was indeed my birthday recently.
That's right. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Take care. That's cool. Who in their right mind thinks about rape, asks Karen Williams. Feminists are not in their right mind. That's true. Rich in Victorville, California. What's up, man? Rich, are you there?
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's up, Hake?
Hey.
I'm surprised you answered.
Why? I almost always answer your calls.
I know you guys are mad at me for exposing the truth about China and stuff. I just wanted to call about that last caller.
That's
about
false.
That last caller.
Okay. What was your comment?
Hake, why do they call it a YouTube channel? The definition of channel to channel something is to serve as a medium for a spirit, right?
Whoa.
Like psychic channeling.
Yeah.
Why do they say, what's your source for this? Sorcery.
Right.
Right. Have you heard people?
Dang.
You ever heard people say, "Oh, I'm perfecting my craft,"
Yeah.
Like witchcraft, right?
Wow,
and
that's trippy.
the other dude from the super chat saying, "Oh, he's stupid," or whatever. Grammar does come from grimoire. Grimoire is a book of spelling and demonology, right? That's why they teach you spelling. Like at school, they teach you how to spell, right? And cursive, also script, right? Cursive, and then I told you Wikipedia, Wicca. And then also pact. I told you about masses and all that. Like the masses, when a room is packed, the masses also packed, like the room is packed. A pact is a deal with an entity, right?
Wow.
You also hear practice makes perfect. Practice makes perfect. A practitioner is a wizard. Also, television broadcast. Television broadcasting, casting a spell.
Wow.
Because it's and this world is ran by warlocks. I was saying, right? That's why at school.
Warlocks being male witches?
Both.
And female.
That's why at school. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could be a male and be a witch or a wizard or whatever. That's why at school, what do they call it? The bell. The bell has rung, right?
Uh-huh.
So when you go to jail, you post bell. Right?
Oh, shoot. The bell rang and you post bail. Nice.
Yeah, when a girl is pregnant, the baby is in her belly, right? Because they worship Bel, right, Hake?
Like Baal, the golden calf Baal? Baal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So,
great.
Yeah. So
I think some of these are, honestly, Rich, I think some of these, at least some of them, maybe all, are a stretch.
Think so?
Your girlfriend states grammar may actually have come from grammar. So you may have had it flipped. It's important to know which came first.
So when you talk about on your show, Asians, black people, white people, Hispanics.
Yeah.
Why do you say Hispanics? Why do you say Hispanics when you could be black and be a Hispanic? Because, like I said, more people were targeted more than others, right? Some people were targeted more than others. Because words are spells. Words are spells, right? That's why you say Hispanic. And indigenous is an anagram of disingenuous, so it's native or naive.
That's why I don't use native and I don't use indigenous. I say American Indian.
That must be a stretch, right? And when I say that America hates Chinese people because they're the wealthiest, that's a stretch as well, huh? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think that's a stretch because Americans don't really hate Chinese people.
Oh, of course. Of course. Oh, you're right. Not only Americans, like
I think it's the Chinese who hate the white people.
Caucasians, like Joe Rogan, the phony who's everybody can talk about white people, but not Asians. What is he talking about? He has his one of the biggest podcasts in the world for a reason, not accidentally, for a reason. If he was Asian, his podcast wouldn't be that big.
Because Asians are not as entertaining. I don't know.
No, buddy. This world is controlled, and people like that.
Actually, it might be bigger if he were Chinese. It might be bigger.
No,
Did you know that the biggest, some of the biggest Chinese stars in the world are bigger than Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson, like one of the best-selling, right? But some of these other guys, like Jackie Chung and Andy Lau, they have because there's so many Chinese people in the world, they have a bigger following.
Koreans, Japanese, yeah. I know not only Chinese people.
So then you made it up that Joe Rogan, if he were Asian, he wouldn't be big. You're just going into your imagination.
No.
You're not speaking from reality. The reality is Joe Rogan is a purported white man.
No, I'm saying Joe Rogan is angry because the loving country that he, represents and acts like it's the greatest thing ever is actually not free. And if he ever were to speak the truth, what would happen? He'll get fired, and that's it. He'll cut off his deals, right?
Whatever.
Right, Hake?
I mean, he doesn't care about the truth. He's an atheist.
No, he's angry because he was talking about, you could in comedy you could joke about this and that, but you could say you could joke about the white man, but not Asians. What is he talking about? Have you seen Dave Chappelle's last special? Have you seen Dave Chappelle's last special? The dude who got paid like $100 million.
He makes fun of everybody.
Yeah, but he mentioned.
but.
What do you mean, but? You're saying that Joe Rogan said that you can't make fun of Asians, but Dave Chappelle made a joke about Asians being killed and beat, right?
I don't know because I didn't watch it. I'm not into him anymore.
He's just angry, as most white people are.
You don't know what you're talking about. Are you angry?
It's white fragility.
Oh Lord, you're buying into the communist nonsense. Are you angry?
Why are you talking about you're angry, Hake? I can see in your eyes.
Are you angry, Rich?
I can see you're angry, Hake. Why are you changing the subject?
You're the one changing the subject. I asked you a question, and then you switched to me.
We're talking about We're talking about
Rich.
Joe Rogan. What he said.
Nuh-uh,
I was making a point.
You're saying
got-
Joe Rogan is angry, and I asked, are you angry?
Okay.
You said, and I asked, are you angry? And then you're like, you're angry. Why are you changing the subject? Why are you defensive?
No, but you guys can make a virus.
Answer the question, Rich.
China.
Rich.
Yeah, I'm angry.
See?
I'm angry.
See, then you don't see clearly.
What do you mean? I'm
angry
out of all
people.
the callers,
Angry people do not see clearly.
Hake, out of all the callers that ever
Angry people do. Rich. Angry people
Exactly.
do not see clearly.
Exactly.
See, then shut up. You need to do more listening and less talking.
Right.
Do you do JLP's silent prayer?
You're evil, Hake.
Do you do JLP's silent prayer?
No, that's just called meditation.
No, it's a prayer.
Why you acting
Why
like
don't you do it?
created meditation?
Why don't you do it?
Why don't you have your own mind? Stop copying JLP.
Do you do JLP's silent prayer? Hello?
You're evil, Hake. You're evil.
You said, no, that's just meditation. You don't believe in meditation?
You're evil,
You don't believe
Hake.
in meditation, Rich?
That's why Joe Rogan's bald.
Rich, do you want me to hang up on you, or do you want me to never take your call again, or do you want to have a conversation?
The Bible talks about
Goodbye,
that.
Rich.
You're evil,
Goodbye,
Hake.
Rich. If you're not going to answer my question,
Do I do the silent prayer?
I asked you if you do the silent prayer. You said no. It's meditation.
Yeah,
You don't. Do you
I
not
do the
do
silent
meditation?
I do the silent prayer every morning
No,
and
you're
night
just
when I sleep.
you're just making up different. Why are
No,
you changing
when
your
I
answer?
sleep- when I sleep, that's the silent prayer.
Oh Lord, what a mess. All right, thank you, Rich. I appreciate
is.
it. Have a good weekend, sir.
Stop lying on China.
Have a good weekend, sir.
All right, you too.
All right, thank you. That's nice. What did I lie about China about? I did call it the China virus, and he thinks that it was American made. What a mess, huh? But he's sometimes nice. I don't know. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I saw this little headline. I got to show it to you guys in the last 3 minutes here. Black women, they don't compromise for good, do they? Black women, like the beef that black men have with black women and that people in general have with black women, is that they're unreasonable. And I saw this headline, 538. 538 is a far left outlet. Amelia Thompson-DeVoe, Stephen Breyer, tried to compromise on an increasingly uncompromising Supreme Court. What a joke. And there may be some truth to it, because old school people, and he is old, so he might be a little bit old school, even though he's a dumb liberal and not a Christian and a Democrat. Stephen Breyer is retiring, right? And he is used to, at least according to 538, try to compromise. So he was less off the deep end evil and unyielding as these females that Obama appointed. Well, that's not the case with whatever black female I predict that sleazy Joe Rogan of great character and integrity is going to appoint. So we're not going to get more of the same. We're going to get more of worse with this mess. What a shame, huh? Anyway, I wanted to get to these banned book stuff, but I talked about it a little bit in Hake News. How they're pretending that we're book burners because we don't want communist propaganda in our schools, anti-white propaganda, anti-American propaganda in our schools. But they're the ones who are not for free speech. The liberals, the communists. Anyway, thank you guys. This has been the Hake Report. Catch me tomorrow on Modern Day Debate with Hunter Avallone. But in the meantime, coming up in an hour, The Fallen State. Going to be a fun one. And then, of course, Anchor Baby's new show. And then the day after tomorrow is Church on Sunday. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.